What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What's up, party people? OTB Nation. Before we start recording the next episode of the pod, we got a little mail time. I feel like Steve from Blue's Clues right now, DJ. We got something sent to the studio here.
To the stove.
From one of our loyal listeners since July, I would say. He's been hardcore. Shout out to Hughes. This mail is from Hughes. We're going to open this here. Not tell anybody what it is, but I'm going to open it here and hopefully not dox myself.
What up, B Hoot?
Absolute legend. Colorado native. Was at the Mammoth home opener.
Coming through.
And may have secured us.
Just me.
Bro. He didn't only secure us one. There's two of these in here, and I had no idea.
That means I can pick one up and bring it to the crib next time I'm there. That's gas.
That's fire. I had no idea that there was two. I thought there was literally just me one in here that he got. Holy shit. That's awesome.
That's gas, dude.
Shout out to Hoots, man.
B Hoot, you are the homie, bro.
These are sick.
That is so tight, man. Oh my god, I can't wait to hang that thing up.
That's awesome.
Let's go.
Shout out to the listeners, bro.
This is what OTB is about, man.
This is sick. And not only do we have that, because Friday night's Wings game, Kevin Finneran's number's getting retired. They're giving away replica retirement banners, so Mom Dukes is going to the game for your boy. To snag one of those for the studio, too. Man, that's sick. I had no idea that there was two in there. I mean, because I genuinely thought, because on the bubble mailer, the label says Outside the Box Podcast, me, dash, DJ. So I figured it was just like us, like for the pod, whatever. I did not expect there to be two in there. That's awesome.
That is so just...
That's incredible.
Blessings. That's what we need. That's what we need.
I do have to. I hope he got one for himself too.
Right.
As a Mammoth fan that he is, I hope he got one for himself.
I wouldn't imagine. I wouldn't imagine that he grabbed two for us and didn't get one for himself.
But man,
what I'm thinking is, kind of what I did to grab an extra koozie because I didn't know it was a koozie at the time. I went to a Red Wings game here in Michigan. They had some free you get a free prize if you bring it to this gate at this time or whatever kind of stickers. Saw a couple that were. I had one on my seat. Saw another one. Gave it to my homie. We exchanged it for some koozies, but it's kind of like the same thing. So I'm hoping that there were a couple people who weren't there, so he grabbed a couple extras, got one for himself as well.
NLL needs to have their teams. It's not a league thing. It's a franchise thing. The franchises in the NLL need to do more giveaways like this for the fans. You want to draw people in? Give things away like that. That's awesome.
Yep.
Like banner stuff like that, like
free
bobbleheads, like stuff like that will bring casual fans in and like collectors and stuff like that in.
Free stuff, free food, or cheap drinks will bring people. Those are like the for sure get people in cards every single time.
NLL, this is our calling card to you. You see these
We
things?
throw them out. We throw out calling cards like crazy.
Look at that. More of this kind of stuff. Bobbleheads, hats, that kind of stuff gets people's butts in the seats. More of this. Let's make it happen. All right. Without any further ado, let's get into the episode. What is going on, OTB Nation? Welcome in to another edition of the allegedly award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, and of course viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. It's episode 258. KB Deej coming at you. Got a loaded NLL slate. Got a lot to recap. I have a fun take at the end of the episode, so stick around for that. And we're gearing up for another week of lacrosse, and it's exciting. We'll recap the wild weekend in Philadelphia that I was a part of, and make sure you guys follow us on the socials at OTB LaxPod, Twitter, Instagram. Follow Deej on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you choose to get your podcasts in audio form. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It really does help. It makes the show more visible to the common sports fan. Helps more people find the show. Plus, we read the positive and the good reviews on the podcast. So leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. Be a friend, tell a friend, share it with your people, and help us get more reviews on the pod on Apple and Spotify. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. That's where you get full video episodes of OTB and every show on our network. You get OTB cast live streams, original content. We're pumping out shorts like crazy on the YouTube channel because they're doing numbies. So go subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're currently, as of right now, on this episode, at 362 subscribers. I feel like as we sit here on January 26th, we can get to 375 by the end of January. I think it's possible. So go subscribe, youtube.com/@undergroundsportsphiladelphia. It really is going to help us take this thing to the next level once we hit 1,000 subscribers. So go subscribe. Tell your people to subscribe. I might have to do some boots on the ground in the Wells Fargo Center just telling people to subscribe this weekend because we need the subscribers. Go subscribe. And also, go get your merch. PHI Apparel Company, our exclusive and official merch providers for the Outside the Box podcast and for all of Underground Sports Philadelphia. With their unique designs, with all the OTB merch we're cooking up in our brains, bringing back some vintage OTB designs as well soon. There's no doubt you guys are going to stand out at your favorite NLL teams' games, at their arena, on the road this summer for the PLL. I'm excited. I have an Underground Sports hoodie coming, Deej, that should be here tomorrow. Might wear that to the Wells Fargo Center. We got OTB hoodies for every brand on our network. It is literally the most effective and direct way to support everything we're doing because PHI Apparel Company's the fucking best merch providers out there. And you guys can get a little discount when you use code Underground. You get 10% off any and all merch orders at phiapparel.co. It's phiapparel.co. Use code Underground for 10% off any and all merch orders. And when you get your merch, tweet at us, tag us on Instagram. We want to see where you're repping the merch from across the nation. What's going on, man?
Dude, the new station is fantastic. Crazy busy. Found out that I'm literally the brand manager. I own this station. I am the last say so.
Look at me.
Literally, like I'm the last say so, but also if something goes wrong, they're looking at me.
Don't look at
me. Also lacrosse season is like about to gear up again. We're starting conditioning back up. New jerseys came in. Which I showed them to you, but I don't think I showed them on pod.
I forget. It's been a long week.
I don't think I did. I'm going to be right back. Those are pod worthy. We're back from intermission. Bang. I told y'all I was switching it up. We're going gray, black, and white. These are shorts, got the nice little KU on them, like the stripes at the bottom. You know, coming through with the
This part of the
oh
pod is where you go watch on YouTube and
right.
subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Please, because these jerseys are fantastic. You gotta look at them; they're so much better than what the team was rocking last year, which is what I wore in high school when I was there. It was time for them to get new jerseys. Here are the away jerseys, the black ones. I love it. It's kind of more of a dark charcoal than a black, which I love. Um, I think it'll fit not only the gray pants, but white helmets, that kind of stuff. Just it's gonna look fantastic. And then the bread and just the best part, the gray with the United instead of Kalamazoo, and just the way all the colors complement. This is just fantastic. Oh,
Now, for everybody listening and watching, everybody knows the relationship DJ and I have. We are boys. We bust each other's balls. This is a total joke, and it just has to be said because it's very funny. You guys should just be the Kalamazoo Roughnecks.
I know. That's on the, because by the way, we are still thinking of mascots, and that is on the list.
The Kalamazoo Lake Dogs.
Kalamazoo Cobras. Kalamazoo Cobras is in the lead right now with a K. Kalamazoo Cobras, the K is in the lead right now.
You should just be the Kalamazoo R-Box then.
Ironically, we thought about the Kalamazoo Black Bears.
I don't hate that.
I don't hate it either.
Kalamazoo Kodiaks.
I thought about that too. That's on the list.
I like that too.
That's on the list. Wow, what else? There was one more I was thinking of. I can't think of it now, but I pretty much narrowed it down to about a top 5.
You could go SpongeBob reference and be the Kalamazoo Krakatoas.
Krakatoa. That episode was bonkers. It was like an off-brand Power Ranger. That's what I thought at the time of watching. I was like, this shit's some off-brand Power Ranger shit.
The ILJLSA. Makeout Reef? Comment on YouTube if you've been to Makeout Reef.
Right? But other than that, life has been great. I had a very great week in picks last week. I went 3-1. Other than the Albany, I wouldn't even say other than Albany shitting the bed. I would say other than the Riptide finally showing me what I've been talking about the first 3 weeks and doing it in the week that I don't choose them. I've literally picked them to win every other week but this week, and they go out and win the week I don't pick them. You know what? We're going to talk about that later. I might need a one-on-one with them for that later. But, yeah, other than that, I had a fantastic week.
SpongeBob reference counter, number 2. It's what we've been waiting for. That's what we've wanted all along.
All along.
There's going to be a SpongeBob counter on this episode, I guarantee
at this point.
Oh, man. What a week. What a week it's been. Do I unpack the Day Job Chronicles for the people?
I mean, do we want to get into Day Job Chronicles? Because now that I'm a brand manager of an entire radio station, I have Day Job Chronicles for hours at this point.
Do you have people coming to your work establishment asking you what kind of toilet paper you use in the public restroom?
No, I got random.
Like genuinely asking what kind of toilet paper, and I'm like, you want to know what my response was at first? I said, I don't know. I don't use the bathroom here.
Man.
And she was like, well, is there somebody here that does?
Maybe. How about you ask them?
For everybody at home, the toilet paper at my day job is literally sent from a warehouse that is the cheapest, thinnest one-ply high school bathroom bullshit.
Because it's a bum-ass Staples.
Yeah, no free ads.
I don't think bum is an ad.
But... Yeah, it's still saying the name.
Screaming.
But yeah, That's what I dealt with on Monday. And then some lady eating popcorn directly out of her purse at 10:30 in the morning on Tuesday, chomping. This is a deep cut reference. So if you get this reference, comment on YouTube that you get this reference. There's an episode of Arthur where they're talking about substitute teachers. And one of the substitute teachers, obviously Arthur, like all the characters are animals. One of the substitute teachers is like a sheep. And she's sitting on the desk, munching on an apple. And her mouth is just moving like a fucking twister. Yes. That's how this lady was eating the popcorn at 10:30 in the morning, directly out of her purse. And it smelled so bad.
So I found out this morning from our digital media editor that someone propped our front door open.
Oh, Christ alive.
And a contest winner walked all the way into his office. And he looked up like, yo, who the hell are you? He's like, oh yeah, I won a contest. And like, I'm here to pick up my prize.
I get to shadow you for the day.
Pretty much. Because like, bro, you walked all the way in.
That's crazy.
Into someone's office. You didn't stop at the front and say hello.
That's insane.
Like, what did your parents teach you? Anything?
Nothing. People have no morals.
This is why I'm so glad I'm in a studio and I'd be like recording and stuff.
I'd be like, sheesh.
I'd be like, I literally just didn't hear that.
See what we have to deal with? This is why you should subscribe to the YouTube channel so I can get the hell out of this fucking whack-ass day job.
Nah, for real. So I could be in the warehouse taking shots of the radar gun to see how fast I can go.
This is why you buy your merch, subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to the podcast feed, so we don't have to deal with these lunatics anymore.
Or so I can beat Pitts in basketball.
That too.
It's
all endless. We had quite the week in the NLL. Little quick recap from week 8 in the NLL. The Rochester Nighthawks win the game of the week 15-12 over the Buffalo Bandits. The Las Vegas Desert Dogs win game of the week 2.0 in comeback fashion, 15-14 for the first win in franchise history over Vancouver. The Wingies fell flat on their face as the Philadelphia sacrificial lamb, so that the Birds could go on to the NFC Championship game, 14-5 to Toronto. And then, like Deej mentioned, New York tops Albany 16-10 in the capital city of New York. I mean, as cool as Las Vegas's first win was for them, as dominant as Toronto's win was over Philly, and as big of a win as it was for New York, I don't think there's no more questions about the Rochester Nighthawks. That's my biggest takeaway from week 8. Like, I think this was the biggest question mark game in terms of, like, is this team legit? Like, we had the homie, Teddy Jenner, on the official NLL website with the show that they do, Coast to Coast, I think it was, that they did it on, saying that the Nighthawks were going to lose 4 straight games. And then, what a troll job by the arena staff for the Rochester Nighthawks, playing that video clip at the end of the game on the big screen.
Yeah, no.
For the entire arena.
That's just how they are right now. Like they're playing at top-notch level and they're walking in that confidence, and like that's how you continue to play at that level. So I have no problem with anything they did.
It was electric, and Teddy played right into it as well. It was great.
Yeah, of course, and I love the way that team is trending. They're following the hot hand. They are just enjoying the time they have together. They are playing very unselfish ball. They're very concerned with the win and going out and playing unselfishly in the mindset of what can I do to help the team win, not what can the team help me
Mm-hmm.
to do. So it's very unselfish and is working on a great standard for them. But in that same respect, the game for me was Philadelphia and Toronto. The flat out just onslaughter from Toronto was exactly what they needed. I think it was kind of that game that we see from Toronto every year,
Mm-hmm.
where they kind of just walk all over a team and then they go on a run for a little bit, and this is kind of a perfect time for them to do that. They started to fall behind and kind of were going game for game, losing here, winning a couple there. This is kind of a good time for them to establish who they are, get their offense back into, their identity, because nothing really changed on the offensive side of the ball for them this year. They just haven't necessarily been as consistent as they've been in the past. Now would be a great time for them to step into that, because Rosie and the defense have played pretty consistently throughout the year. So it's kind of time for the offense to do that. And it kind of looked like that clicked for them this weekend against Philadelphia. They kind of just were like, okay, it's January, the end of January. We're getting into the meat and potatoes of the season. We kind of got to get into it, because, I mean, we're playing Eastern Conference teams every week now, or we're playing two of them a weekend now. Like it's to the point to where every single one of these games matter. Not like the first couple didn't, but as you start to get into the middle of your season where you're playing conference game after conference game, they matter a little bit more than, the second or third game of the season that you could possibly let slip, because you have more coming up.
I was at that game, obviously, because I'm at every Wings home game. It was an unreal time in Philadelphia, let me tell you. When I was leaving after the game, where we parked when we went to the Phils game, so I kept going down on the right-hand side. There's just a dude by himself, all bundled up and everything, in a typical, like, soccer mom folding chair with a fire pit that belonged in a backyard.
Uh-huh.
Just going. And right next to the chair, big old stack of logs.
I'm screaming. What? What? Bro had him a great time.
My man was living. I mean, the environment was great at the game, too. Obviously, everybody, that bought tickets that traditionally probably wouldn't be at the game because of the Eagles game going on and everything, and the additional time to tailgate and stuff like that. The Wings were just flat, man. And on top of that, Rosie was on one. This was like this is a game that will go in Nick Rose's Hall of Fame highlight package, because he stopped anything. Like, Nick Rose would have stopped a brick wall coming at him. It was unreal watching him, like, just be in a zone that, like, I can't even remember an NLL game that I've been to where a goalie was that locked in. And it was just so impressive to see just the way his head was on a swivel. The defense in front of him was playing phenomenal. And anything that came his way, it was like he knew the shot like a second before it happened almost. So I mean, like, whatever he was doing, if he does that the rest of the year, like, good luck. I mean, he forced the Wings to set the new iteration of the Wings, I should say, a new franchise low for goals and a half. The Wings had never been limited to only 1 goal and a half since they've come back until this weekend. The Wings just didn't put together a full 60. That was their biggest issue. The first and fourth quarters were good. Middle of the game was horrific. They couldn't pass the ball to save their lives. It was very weird. Like, it was very uncharacteristic of what we expect from them. So I don't know if it was just like that extra jitters and juice from like knowing what the day was going to be in Philly. But hopefully, like, that shit's out of their system now and we don't have to worry about that. Tate Katoni looked great. He played in his first game, scored a goal, had an assist. I got to talk to him after the game as well, and he's going to fit in perfectly in Philadelphia. He, like, for a guy who just got here this past week to go in front of the media and say, like, we've got to, reset, regroup, and really focus on everything that just happened, not throw this game away and learn from it so that this type of thing never happens again. And for a young player and a new player to say that was really impressive to me. But yeah, I mean, hopefully that's out of their system, especially with Buffalo coming to town on Friday, coming off a loss for Buffalo as well. Great win by the Riptide. Who would have thought that trading Callum Crawford would solve their offensive issues?
Man. Nobody.
Everybody looked great for them. And then the Las Vegas game, like, to come back from being down 8 goals and win in the fashion that they did, it was just like one of those things that boy Jack Hanna, man, he's through 8 weeks, he's my rookie of the year, hands down. Like, he's just on another level of carrying that team and being a dominant force. We were texting during that game, and I said, Vegas will win exponentially more if they just focus in on the big three of their offense of Hellier, Jack Hanna, and Charlie Bertrand.
Which isn't hard. Feed them the ball. Let those three and just put them on one side of the floor. Let those three run a 3-on-3 or 3-on-2, especially in the man up. Let those three run a 3-on-2, and you're bound to get a goal out of that. Like, the three of them are so creative, so savvy, and so good with their sticks. Like, there's no reason not to kind of just give them a green light and freedom to do what they want in that situation. But it's definitely coming together, and I'm excited to see kind of where it can go, because there's 3 ball handlers, 3 shooters, 3 pickers. Like, it's endless possibilities with the 3 of them in that triangle there.
Yeah. They looked fantastic. Like, that's the best they've looked as a cohesive, like, team all year. So props to the Nighthawks, the Desert Dogs, Toronto, and the Riptide for their big wins. Before we hand out the OTB awards, let's get to DJ's State of the Fandom. It's brought to you by our friends over at Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game. Guys, they've got sunglasses, blue light glasses. They've been rocking with us for nearly 3 years now. They're the best in the game. Get your sunglasses, get ready. Spring and summer's right around the corner. Get your blue light glasses when you're watching the NLL on TV, PLL on TV. Your eyes will thank you. Go to tomahawkshades.com, use promo code USP, and you get 25% off your order. That's a massive promo code. 25% off when you use promo code USP at tomahawkshades.com. Deej, let's get into the state of the fandom. Anything switch up with our 4-game slate this week? How we feeling about these squads that are still on the table?
New York's made its way back into the top 5. Obviously a little biased, but I mean, if they can continue to play like that, I don't see a reason why they can't be my favorite team. Rochester as well. I talked about the Connor Fields thing in that whole respect. And kind of some of the other guys they have, Ryan Smith. And Ryan Hartley has turned out to be a fantastic goalie. But the passion he plays with is fantastic. So there's some moving pieces around. I think I kicked Vancouver and Georgia out already. I don't think.
Georgia was hanging on by a thread last week. Vancouver was officially eliminated.
Yeah, I could probably kick Georgia out, to be honest.
Wow. How you get fired on your week off?
Man, I just really thought about it over the week. Like, man, I don't know if Lyle is simply enough to like that team, in my opinion. I can like Lyle, but I don't have to like the team. You know what I'm saying?
So there it is. Plus, they don't follow us.
Yeah, that's the second strike. That might as well be 3 strikes. So, yep, you're right. No, Georgia. Sorry.
So there it is. Georgia, Vancouver, off the table. I will say, though, Vancouver, their alternate jersey that they put out this week. I don't know if you saw it.
I have it.
Dude, I need that. Like, I need oxygen to fucking breathe. It's like local, like, native art graffiti behind the Vancouver logo. I'll send you the graphic for it. I was like, yep, I'm gonna need that. Put that on sale, Vancouver. Pretty please.
Sounds
Put
crazy.
it on, like, even if they put it on a t-shirt, I'll wear that.
Right.
Yeah, it's their First Nations celebration week. So let me send this to you. But there it is. DJ State of the Phantom. Riptide making their way back. Shout out Vance Joy. And Georgia and Vancouver. Off the table. Off the books.
Oh, wow.
Like, how sick is that?
Yeah.
Like, give me that on a t-shirt.
ASAP.
I'll buy that immediately.
ASAP.
So there's DJ State of the Fandom. Not much has changed, but his New York Riptide are back. Let's get to the OTB Awards for Week 8, brought to you by our friends at Trophy Smack. There's no better way to upgrade your fantasy smack talk, guys, than with Trophy Smack. And this just in, they've got last place awards. Golden toilet seats. Perfect ways to embarrass your last place finisher in your fantasy leagues. Plus, for your winners, they got trophies, belts, rings, metal wall art, you name it, they've got it. Go to trophysmack.com/underground to start upgrading your fantasy smack talk today. That's trophysmack.com/underground. trophysmack.com/underground. Upgrade your fantasy smack talk today. OTB Awards, Deej. Offensive Player of the Week. In my humble estimation, as I'm looking at this right now, I'm just double checking the Vegas game to see if our reigning Offensive Player of the Week is going to go back to back. So I'm torn between three guys. The three guys that I have in my brain are Rob Hellier, 2 goals, 7 assists for 9 points on the week, on 7 shots on goal. He had 3 loose balls, did have 5 turnovers. The next person I have on my list is Ryan Smith. He had 9 points, 5 goals, 4 assists, 14 shots on goal, 2 loose balls, only 2 turnovers. And then Tom Schreiber was the other. He had 7 points, 5 goals, 2 assists. Was just like a sharpshooter against the Wings. I'm low-key leaning Ryan Smith, though.
I don't know if you heard any of that.
No, you just came back. Your camera like glitched.
I don't hate Ryan Smith, but Jeff Teed had 12 points. So
Oh, true.
there's
See,
that much.
for the people at home, I was checked out of that game because the Birds were playing. So I missed most of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He went bonkers.
Yeah. Then, yeah, Jeff Teed, 12 points. It's double digits. It's kind of a lock.
Yeah. That's what I thought too. I just didn't know if you feel like Ryan Smith was just that guy.
I mean, he was that guy in that game. He helped them win, beat his Chaos boys. Honorable mention I'll give to Smithers there because that's a hell of a performance from him. Goalie of the week, I think we're on the same page back to back. It's Nick Rose.
Yep.
Like, disgusting performance from Rosie. Rookie of the week, I think we're also on the same page. Jack Hanna. Once again, just doing the damn thing. Jack had 7 points, 4 goals, 3 assists, 5 loose balls. Just doing it all, helping Vegas get their first franchise win. So Jack Hanna takes it there. And then defensive player of the week. I'm looking at... where did it go? I want to pull up the Toronto Rock because, only giving up 5 goals. It's not
Right.
only just your goalie, it's also your defense stepping up. Looking here at the Rock. So, cause turnover wise, Mitch DeSnew had 3 cause turnovers. He had 3 blocks. Also had a goal, 2 assists. But I do have to say this: Mitch DeSnew did take that L in a fight against the boy Blaze Reardon.
Yeah, I saw that.
Mitch was instigating the shit out of that, and then as soon as I saw that replay run back, and Mitch was just like getting all caught, I was like, Blaze is gonna punch the shit out of him, and I feel so bad for you right now. But I mean, Mitch had a hell of a game, and I'm willing to give him the nod there, but also acknowledge that the Wings did win something this week, and it was Blaze Reardon ringing that bell, brother.
Yeah, a win is a win.
We'll take them where we can get them. So there it is. Rosie's your goalie of the week. Mitch DeSnew, your defender of the week. Forward attackman of the week is the one and only Jeff Teat. And then your rookie of the week is Jack Hanna. It's brought to you by our friends at Trophy Smack, those OTB awards for week 8. Week 9 on deck, though. Crazy that we're halfway through the season after this week concludes. Loaded slate of games. We've got 2 on Friday, 5 on Saturday, and it's looking like this. We got 6 p.m. on Friday, Rochester at Halifax. It's another fun test for Rochester. Then the Buffalo Bandits at the Wings at 7 p.m. On Friday. And then Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the Riptide hosting Buffalo. So Buffalo's got a back-to-back, both on the road. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Saskatchewan's hosting Las Vegas. Saturday at 9 o'clock Eastern for the first time since March 8th, 2020. One of the final games we had before the entire world went kaput. Calgary Roughnecks hosting the Toronto Rock in the TSN Game of the Week. And then San Diego at Colorado. And then 10 o'clock for the big old nightcap, Panther City at Vancouver. What matchup is kind of sticking out to you, Deej?
Probably Toronto and Calgary.
Yeah.
Obviously, the history of COVID and everything that happened with that, but also it's kind of just the trajectory those two teams are on. They're both kind of at the same point where they both had really good weeks. Their last game out, they're trying to get back into that groove, especially offensively. So it's kind of just going to be a matter of who wants it more.
Yeah, I like that. I think that matchup's going to be a heavyweight slugfest. They're just going to go back and forth with each other. 2 great goalies, prolific offensive weapons across the board for both teams. Rochester Halifax, I think, is going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, Halifax formerly the Rochester Nighthawks, so there's that fun built-in rivalry there. And it's just another test for anybody who is still simply doubting the Rochester Nighthawks. I don't know who you are. Show your face, you cowards. But I think that's going to be a fun game as well. And just another kind of slugfest. 2 offenses that have been on fire to start this year. And Halifax trying to bounce back from that 0-2 week that they had a couple weeks ago. And then I think the other thing storyline-wise that stands out to me this week is just Buffalo has 2 on the road back-to-back. See how they respond coming off a loss and just the grueling and dauntingness on their bodies. We've talked about how these Buffalo guys, they've just been playing lacrosse nonstop and just on their feet and putting their bodies out there nonstop for the better part of 2.5 years now. So that's going to be interesting to just keep an eye on with the Buffalo boys on the road for, a back-to-back and playing less than 24 hours between opening face-off for both of those games. So very intriguing there. And I mean, Vegas and Saskatchewan is going to be Very interesting to see how the Saskatchewan faithful welcome Las Vegas to old Saskatoon.
Right, and if Las Vegas can build off the momentum of their last win, well, their first win, their only win, so I was pleased with the effort that Vegas put out last week. Dug deep, pulled out a very tough win. Kind of sort of came back in that win as well. So it'll be interesting to see them play against a Rush team that is having a much better season than they had last year.
Yeah, and teams on bye this week, if I'm looking correctly, it is the Albany Firewolves, Georgia Swarm, and that is it. Those two teams are your bye weeks, with Buffalo playing twice. Right? That makes sense. Yeah, because it's 7 games. So I think without any further ado, Deej, let's hit that feeding time and get to the Week 9 picks of the week, brought to you by our friends over at Pickup. It's the best place to play the props for any and all sports out there. All you got to do is sign up with your phone number, go to playpickup.com, start playing the hottest headlines in sports, rack up points on your fan profiles, cash them in for prizes on the Pickup Marketplace. That's playpickup.com. Starting off on Friday night in Halifax, the Rochester Nighthawks at the Halifax Thunderbirds. I mean, I'm still at the point, especially after this past week's performance in that fourth quarter, especially when it was still going back and forth between those two teams with Buffalo and Rochester, the way Rochester was able to close that game, go on I think it was a 4-0 run to win. I'm going with the Nighthawks.
Yep. I'm in that can't pick against some territory.
Next game on Friday, which I will be at, CFO Margie will be at, and my little cousin Adam will be at. The Buffalo Bandits, the Philadelphia Wings.
I'm gonna go Buffalo. They haven't quite had the season they had last year, but compared to Philadelphia and kind of the up and downs they've had, not even just this year, but last year, I kind of trust Buffalo a little more.
I could look dumb for what I'm about to explain my pick as. But having talked to Coach Day after the game on Saturday last week, Coach Day dropping a nice little F-bomb as well. I've never seen him more pissed off, fired up than he was there. So I'm going to go the Wings because I think he and the leaders on this team lit a fire under their asses and kind of sent a wake-up call message to this team that they definitely needed. And for whatever reason, Buffalo and the Wings are always kind of just a even, not that they're even, but they do have a lot of equal talent, but they always go pound for pound with each other. It's always a close game. So I'm going to lean with the home field advantage, and I'm going to lean with the aspect of I think Coach Day is just not going to accept anything less than 110% from this team in this matchup. Also, Kevin Finneran retirement night. Can't lose in front of a legend. Getting his number retired, so shout out to Kevin Finneran. And then Saturday, Deej, Buffalo plays again at New York. Your New York Riptide hosting the Buffalo Bandits in a back-to-back. Is Buffalo going 2-0?
Yeah, I still like Buffalo. New York had a good week last week, but I don't know if they can maintain that week by week.
Yeah, I'm going with the Buffalo Bandits there. I think they walk away with a solid win. And in my picks estimation, they split and bounce back after the loss to the Wings. Saturday, 8:30, Las Vegas at Saskatchewan. I don't know if Vegas is going to be able to. It was an emotional win for them. To come back from being down 8 is wild. I saw a tweet too. I forget who tweeted. It might have been Grant Parrow. Every team who has ever come down come back from being down 8 goals in the NLL, has gone on to win the NLL championship.
That's wild.
So Vegas, cue the Jim Carrey meme. So you're saying there's a chance? No, because Saskatchewan's going to win this game. They have an unreal home floor advantage. They've been playing super solid, and I think the Rush get a big-time win in conference and, keep things rolling for the way that they have been this season.
I like the Rush here as well.
Moving on to the TSN game of the week. It's the Toronto Rock, the Calgary Roughnecks in Calgary, that beautiful teal turf. I know Calgary's kind of becoming like a darling team for this podcast once again. Like the way they're playing, the boys there. But it's hard to deny what Toronto just did. And like you mentioned earlier, like that's typically like the catalyst for them to go on a run. I think this game's going to be not only the game of the week, but the closest game of the week. But I'm gonna lean Rosie, Pineapple Express, Treasy, and Tom Schreiber and John Rogers, and the rest of the Toronto Rock boys take the Rock.
We're feeling real similar this week. I like the Rock here too. Calgary didn't put the pieces together slowly, but what Toronto did to your beloved Wings Saturday was insane. Can't deny that's immediate progress, and that could continue next week, like this week. Like you can't deny that.
9 o'clock Eastern time as well. Another West Division matchup. I believe this is a rematch, if I'm not mistaken. The San Diego Super Seals head to Ball Arena to take on the defending champions, the Colorado Mammoth. I like this matchup a lot. This is just a fun rivalry game. These two teams always get at it. I gotta look at their record real quick. Mammoth are 3-1, so this is for first place, effectively. In the Western Conference, San Diego's at 4-1. Colorado is at 3-1. So if Colorado wins, they leapfrog. If San Diego wins, they stay a full game ahead of Colorado. I just like the scrappiness that Colorado's been playing with recently. Like they haven't been scoring, like we'd want them to with the offense that they have. But they're playing gritty defense. Dylan Ward has bounced back from that one loss that they had this year and played very, very well. And they're just playing team ball right now. So I'm going with Colorado. I think Colorado gets a big, early season defining win and jumps into first place in the West.
I don't know how I feel about this one.
The more I looked at it, I was like, damn, this game's actually pretty tough.
It's a lot harder than it looks. Like, really, like, I'm really looking at it, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this game with so much on the line and Colorado kind of in a groove right now, really, if we want to be honest. Like, they kind of had their slip up towards the beginning of the year, but they've been cruising recently. Offense is starting to look a little bit better, putting up more than 9 goals a game. Defense still doing their thing, but we can't deny San Diego being an absolute powerhouse.
I also stand corrected. This is not a rematch. This is the first time these guys are playing.
I'm going to have to go Seals.
That That wouldn't shock me for everybody at home, too. It wouldn't shock me if San Diego ends up winning. I do like the over in this game for all the gamblers out there. I think the over has a good shot to hit, even with the two great goalies in this game. The offenses are just prolific. Final game of the weekend, Panther City at Vancouver. I think this game is big for two reasons. One, Panther City has to show that they can beat teams not named Las Vegas. Kind of do it in more convincing fashion. As they sit at 3-3 right now in Vancouver. If they lose, they fall to 1-6. So they've got a lot to play for to kind of keep their season alive effectively. Especially after that just demoralizing loss to Las Vegas last week. To be up by 8 goals and lose is a tough scene. I'm going Panther City, though. I think they get a big win and, continue staying in the mix in the West.
Panther City. I don't know why it took me so long to really think about it, knowing that Vancouver is not on my list anymore, so I don't pick them. Even though, I guess I was thinking about last week. Vancouver had a pretty decent week last week, and kind of made me rethink some things. But they are where they are,
and then they lost.
Yeah, they are where they are, and things haven't changed. So, yep.
It's like Tyler the Creator. Fall back like LeBron's hairline against the Mavericks. He lost.
Nice.
So those are our picks of the week for week 9. We're both going Rochester. You've got Buffalo. I've got the Wings. We both have Buffalo over the Riptide. Both have Saskatchewan. Both have Toronto. You've got the Seals. I've got Colorado. We both have Panther City. Those are our Week 9 NLL picks of the week, brought to you by our homies over at Pickup. That's all we got for you guys this week. You may or may not have seen a Drake Porter Do review inserted mid-episode. A little bit of a shorter one. Not too much going on in the lacrosse world. Hope everybody who went to LaxCon had a fun time. My final take here. LaxCon should, if it's going to be held in January, the way it typically is, it needs to be held in a city that has an NLL team. It draws so many more people out to LaxCon, draws so many more people out to that home city's NLL game of the week. I saw it with my own 2 eyes happen in 2020 in January before the world shut down in Philadelphia. And it doesn't have to be in Philly, it doesn't have to be, move it all around. It can be anywhere. But if LaxCon, moving forward, I think the smart decision should be that it needs to be in a city that has an NLL team.
I agree. It was like a full circle kind of thing. Like from one avenue of lacrosse to another. Like that's how the sport grows, dumping money into it. So don't do it on a night where they're gonna come to LaxCon and they go to a hockey game. Come to LaxCon and go to a basketball game. Like you want them to come to LaxCon and go to a lacrosse game. Like get your money into the sport that you're invested in to not only get your money back, but to grow it and make it more accessible.
And it's like, I get the USA Lacrosse headquarters is in Baltimore, but like that's not drawing anybody there per se. But I hope everybody had a good time. It seemed like a fun time. A lot of the homies were out there. Also, shout out to RJ and Poolskis for your new haircuts. You absolute certified sickos.
Not for real. They do crazy stuff.
That's all we got, though. Make sure you guys subscribe to the pod feed on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. Follow us at OTBLaxPod, Twitter and Instagram. Follow Deej on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. And follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. That's where you get video episodes of OTB. It's youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. And make sure you get your merch, phiapparel.co. Use code underground. Get 10% off any and all merch orders at any time. Tag us when you get your OTB merch. It's the most effective and direct way to support everything we're doing here at OTB. But this has been episode number 258 of the allegedly award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, and of course viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, official lacrosse pod on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. For Deej, KB, enjoy the games this weekend, everybody. And until next time, we're getting the heck up out of here. Peace.
Peace.